No DQ Galaxy. We are live with predictions for the 2024 WWE King and Queen of the Ring premium live event in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, which means a 1 p.m. Eastern start time, early for people in the United States, really early if you live on the West Coast. And if you're in jolly old England, it's right at the peak time, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. They get that nice prime time spot, which they usually do not get, although it's becoming more frequent now since WWE is doing these international events for most of the shows that are not the big four. Anyways, let's go ahead and get everyone's overall thoughts on King and Queen of the Ring. Backlash did not have a lot of hype, I should say. This one has a little bit more hype, I think, because of the tournament matches. So let's get everyone's overall thoughts. Matthew, I'm going to start with you. How's it going, man? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for this show?
It's going good. Overall, I'd say I'm about a 6. I'm a little disappointed with, the handling of certain matches like LA Knight and Tiffany Stratton. But overall, I'm excited. I think it will really determine when we know what the final for SmackDown will be of if it will increase my overall interest.
6 out of 10, so a little above average, nothing too stellar. Greg, you're going to be watching it in prime time over there in England. Your thoughts on King and Queen of the Ring?
Hey, yeah, guys, good to be back for another show that is, as Aaron said, is more my time here in the UK. I suppose I can get used to these because I think there's quite a good few coming up, right? It's got the Clash, the one in Berlin, so
Yep.
I can get used to them. I spent my whole life getting used to being ready at 1 in the morning, so now I've got to adjust back to like my evenings being taken up. But I'm not so excited for this only because it's taken me a while to get into the crown jewels and the shows in Saudis because they're usually they've not been as big as they could have been. I'm the same as Matthew. I'm gonna go for 6. I think it's just like a house show in a stadium. I don't know. I'm not too sure of it. So we'll see. Hopefully there's some matches that will exceed our expectations or shock us, but I think it's quite predictable and it could have done a bit better. So I don't know whether they just counted AEW's 15 matches so they do as little as possible. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Greg. And over to fellow Blink 182 fan, TJS. We just happened to wear a Blink 182 shirt, both of us, for the same video, not planned or anything. TJS, how's it going, man? How excited are you for this show? Are you excited? Are you as excited for this show as you would be for like a Blink 182 concert in your neck of the woods?
Oh, no, probably not. So the fact that this is a Saudi show kind of adds to my excitement because I know that WWE usually does do, it's a bigger scale production, so there's going to be extra pyro and it's going to feel like a bigger deal, even if the matches aren't, that great on paper, which I think they are. So yeah, I think it is a predictable show, but it's in Saudi, so I think that they're gonna, do their best to make it feel like a big deal. And I'm gonna go with I'll give it a 7, a mild 7 out of 10.
All right, yeah. I think I may agree with you on that. 7 out of 10 seems fair. Saudi Arabia is a mixed bag. I feel like some of the shows the crowd was not reacting much, but the last couple ones, like they popped big for Sami Zayn, and I think it will be a good crowd. Not going to be as good as France, I don't think, but I think it will be an above average crowd. Let's throw it over now to permanently tired Walter Cruz. Hopefully he's not too tired to get through this live stream tonight. Walter, how's it going? How excited are you for this show?
I'm a little above everyone else, but that's because of what King of the Ring means to me. I've explained to you guys before, like it used to always be in June right near my birthday. So my mom like always ordered that pay-per-view. So it like means something to me. So I'm at a 9 for it. Plus, a lot of us have expected less in Saudi, and they've delivered higher. So, like the last few Saudi shows have actually been better than any of us have thought. Like every time we predicted it, they delivered a little better. At least the last like 3 or 4 of them. So, yeah, I'm about a 9 for it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Big G, who's permanently happy to be here. That we may have a new T-shirt idea for Big G. Big G, how's it going, man? How excited are you for this show?
I'm doing pretty good. As far as the show, I'd say a 7 out of 10. I mean, some of the matches I think are going to be. I mean, most of them are going to be predictable, but I think the Queen and the King of the Ring matches will be the ones that will be a little bit more difficult to predict.
All right, thank you for that, Big G. And chat room, leave your thoughts, leave your predictions, your theories, your opinions on the matches as we go through them. Let's get started. King and Queen of the Ring 2024. Now, unfortunately, we do not have the full card as far as knowing the SmackDown participants for the King and Queen of the Ring finals, since WWE is having those matches take place this Friday, 24 hours before the show in Saudi Arabia. So it doesn't happen too often where we don't know every single participant on the card. So we're going to have to make educated guesses on that one. I have a feeling we'll mostly have the same picks, though. So let's start off with the King and Queen tournament matches. So first, the men's match. On Raw, we have Gunther, and Gunther will be facing the winner of Randy Orton versus Tama Tonga, which takes place this Friday on SmackDown. And for the women, we have Lyra Valkyria from Raw going up against the winner of Bianca Belair versus Nia Jax. Again, that will be Friday on SmackDown. So we're going to predict the final match result, and you could say who you think might be on the SmackDown side for each match, and then you could just give your overall pick. We're going to do the best we can here. As I mentioned over the past couple weeks, I'm going to stay with a safe prediction and say that both matches will be heel versus face. That's what I think is going to happen. So, Big G, we'll start with you. Your predictions for the King and Queen finals. Who do you think will win each tournament?
All right. Well, I figured Gunther was going to win last night, but if Jay would have won, it would have been Jay versus Tama Tonga in the finals. But since Gunther won, I'm going with Randy Orton to win on SmackDown. And if it is, I believe this is the first time they'll be one-on-one, so it should be one hell of a match. I'm gonna go with Gunther to win the King of the Ring. I think after losing the IC title, I think this will elevate him to the world title shot in Germany against most likely Drew if Drew wins it at Clash of the Castle. And as far as the women, like you said, it's going to be typical heel versus face. So I'm going with Nia Jax to win on Friday, sorry. And I'm going to go with Lyra Valkyria to win Queen of the Ring. I watched her in NXT UK when she was there, and I watched her a little bit in NXT. And she's in the last 3 matches, she's proven that she can really hold her own against everybody. And yeah, so I'm going to go with Lyra Valkyria to win the Queen and Gunther to win the King of the Ring matches.
All right, sounds good, Big G. I will throw it over now to permanently tired Walter Cruz.
All right, so in terms of who I think the SmackDown participants are, I think Randy Orton. I'm going with used to. I think Randy Orton wins, and I think Nia Jax wins her match. We can get the classic heel versus face. But I don't know how you feel, but I feel like King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring is like the concept itself is set up for heels, like because you got to be like a cocky person to be called king and like rule with an iron fist. Like throughout history, people don't like kings, so I just feel like this is set up for heels. So I'm gonna go with the heel on both sides. I think Gunther pulls out the win, the King of the Ring, and I think we get Queen Nia because I think that's why she got traded to SmackDown. I think she's gonna be the queen, even though it'd be nice for Lyra to win it. I feel like they're set up for heels to rule, and you want to rule with an iron fist. It's like the whole concept of a king and a queen is like, I hate them basically. Not me personally. I'm just saying people hate them throughout history. So I'm here for it. I actually like Nia. You guys know I'm like the only one of the whole group that's like always like I don't get why everybody's attacking Nia all the time. So I say Queen Nia and King Gunther.
All right, well that's interesting. You went with Nia Jax to win the Queen of the Ring. TJS, we'll throw it over to you now with your thoughts.
Well, I really hate that they're waiting until the go home show to give us a final match, but yeah, I mean, I think that I'll start with the Queen of the Ring. I think that Lyra versus Nia, it makes sense. I think that's like a David Goliath matchup. So I think that'll be entertaining. But I actually am going to have to agree with permanently tired Walter Cruz here that I think Nia is going to win the Queen of the Ring match. And I think she's going to be Queen Nia, like Walter said. And I mean, because I feel like it's just going to be, it's going to be a very game Lyra Valkyria. At the end, they're going to say, oh, well, she has nothing to be ashamed about. She came up on the main roster and worked her way through this tournament, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I think Nia is going to win. And then eventually did we already get Nia versus Bayley? I don't think we've had the singles match, or have we? I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know, but I think that Nia's becoming queen, and yeah, I mean, I think Orton is going to beat Tonga, and then Gunter versus Orton. That's going to be a great match, and I mean, obviously, Randy Orton does not need to be King of the Ring, so I think he's taken the L. I think we get King, Gunter, and then I'm excited to see where this goes next for him because I think it's going to be really entertaining. So. To recap, Nia and Gunter both winning. Going with Walter, I agree that both heels are winning.
Wow. I mean, you guys may have sold me, but I want to hear from Greg. Greg, let's get your thoughts on this. You going to go in a different direction, or are you going to go with Queen Nia Jax?
Oh boy. Well, I'm on the men's side. I'm pretty comfortable. I'm pretty convinced. Through most of the tournament, I was like, this tournament is probably been made for Gunther. So, and obviously, I think he's facing Randy, which will, I think, make for a very interesting match because we haven't seen it, right? So I think it's like a first time thing. So, and I think as Big G said in regards to to have Gunther as like King of the Ring, obviously the mat is sacred, and we've heard about how he respects it and everything. So come the King of the Ring, it will make for he'll make for such a great king, I think, going forward, and it'll give him that little bit extra push towards the title, say come Berlin. On the women's side, I was surprised Io didn't win last night. I don't know why, but I really thought she was winning. I thought it was going to be her versus Bianca. I think Bianca is winning on Friday. I just think they push her so much. They push Bianca so much, and I don't know. I know people love the whole heel thing and making Nia Queen of the Ring. I think it would give her even more heat than she probably already gets. But I think where we're getting a heel King of the Ring, I think we should maybe get a face Queen. Just to mix it up a bit. I understand with Walter's whole have them both heels and etc. etc. I think Bianca winning the whole Queen of the Ring, because I feel in my opinion, I think she's eventually it's gonna get to her head, and she's gonna eventually turn. Her and Jade, I don't think are set to be tag champs for God knows forever. Because they're going to start building it up. I think if anyone's going to turn on anyone or turn a heel, it's going to be Bianca because she's had all of her FaceTime. Jade is very popular right now, so if they eventually split them up in time, Bianca being Queen of the Ring, it might get to her head to be like, she's the strongest, the best, and everything, all of that. It's going to get too much. I understand with Lyra, she's doing very well, but the push is too quick. I think that's crazy quick. Next thing you know, we'll start calling her Becky because, the last Irish woman to get pushed so much. I don't know. I think it's too quick. Would I be surprised if any of the other two got it? No, but I'm backing Bianca because I feel like she's still one of the top 3-4 women that constantly get pushed, and I think they've still got big plans for her. So, and then that heel turn will come. So, I'm going for Bianca to win the whole thing on the women's side.
Interesting, Matthew. I mean, now I'm really not sure because I think Greg made some good points about Bianca and some good points for Nia Jax. What about Lyra Valkyria? Where's her love? What do you think, Matthew? Is it too soon to be giving her King of the Ring or Queen of the Ring? She's already won a couple big matches. Does she really need to win this tournament as well? What do you think?
I'm a little on the fence on the women's side. The men, it's easy. It's gonna be the king. He's now going to be the King General Gunther because he will be King of the Ring and of course the Ring General. But yeah, it's gonna be him and Orton. I'm gonna be curious how they're gonna give Tama Tonga his first loss, but that's probably gonna be KO doing. Yeah. But the biggest thing with the whole Bianca, Lyra, Nia thing is how is Nia either gonna beat Super Cena Belair or how is Bianca gonna beat Nia, especially with the rumors that Bianca's ankle or knee is hurt. Then of course there's the whole pregnancy rumor. I'm not quite sure. I do agree with Greg that Lyra has been pushed pretty heavily, especially compared to the fact that Carmelo's lost most of his matches. Ilya's lost his big match, yet Lyra has beaten Io, which was a pretty big shock because I was expecting Io to make it if Tiffany didn't make it. Actually, my original prediction was going to be Tiffany and Io with Tiffany going over, but I'm not really sure. I think Lyra would be a good pick, namely just because I see them giving Raw both King and Queen of the Ring, and SmackDown could get Money in the Bank winners. So I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to go with Lyra just because on that principle, but I'm not quite sure how all this is going to work together because there's a lot of, how do you beat the unstoppable Bianca? And then if it is Nia, how is this going to, it's going to be an interesting match.
Wow, we are all split. Not all, but
yeah. Walter, go ahead.
Before you go, Aaron, I just want to mess with your head. What if no one wins the King of the Ring? What if Braun Breaker goes over there and destroys everybody, and for not being put into the tournament ruins it? And the whole point is this is like Braun destroys it, and they gotta reset the whole thing. I know it's totally wouldn't happen, but with what's going on with Braun, what if he does that?
He's only beating up jobbers at the minute. He's got a big problem with jobbers. He's out to get them. Don't worry.
Yeah, I think Gunther would kick Braun's ass, actually.
You don't know, but if you want to make him a big star and want us to take him serious, what do? Throw him in the middle of Gunther and someone else big, Randy Orton? That'd be it just destroys the whole thing and screw your King of the Ring tournament because you didn't put me in it.
Well, thank you for that, Vince Russo. We appreciate it. I'm not even sure he would book that. But anyways, as Matthew said, the men's side, easy to predict. It's going to be Gunther versus Randy Orton. Gunther's going to win. Kevin Owens will probably make sure Orton gets that victory. The women's match, though, I think you can make a solid case for all three potential contenders at this point. It's tough when we don't know who's going to win the SmackDown match because that could influence my overall pick. But I was going to say Lyra Valkyria before we started this stream, just because I feel like they're gonna go all the way with her and really try to make something out of her. But she's already picked up a few big wins, and I don't think losing would kill any of her momentum. But yeah, you could really make her as a superstar by having her win the tournament. The question is it too much too soon? You know, that's definitely debatable. So I like the idea of Nia winning because you can set her up as a serious contender for Bayley's title. And in that sense, I think it makes more practical sense to go with Nia Jax. Lyra will be fine. You know, she got close, but no cigar. Heel queen of the ring. Although I would be fine with a babyface queen as well. You know what? I'm going to stick with what my gut feeling was. I'm going to say Lyra Valkyria wins the whole thing. And regardless of whether she faces Bianca, I don't think it's going to be Bianca just because she's got the storyline and she's in a tag team with Jade right now. So she really doesn't need it. Nia could benefit as far as being a contender goes, and Lyra could become made from winning the Queen of the Ring. So yeah, I'll go with Lyra, but I could see Nia winning it too. Like this is the one match where I'm really torn, and I could see it going either way at the pay-per-view. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And then we move on. We got the King and Queen of the Ring matches covered. So let's get to the other three matches. This one, I feel like we're all probably going to have the same prediction. We got Sami Zayn defending the Intercontinental Championship. He's going to be a massive babyface in Jeddah, going up against Chad Gable and big Bronson Reed. And Chad Gable has basically said that Otis is going to be there to help him win the Intercontinental title, which means probably Otis is going to cost him, whether it's inadvertent or on purpose. Probably it'll be an accident, and Gable's going to just flip and lose his shit on Otis, and then Otis will turn against him at some point. But yeah, I think Sami Zayn retains here in Saudi Arabia. I would be shocked if he lost in Saudi Arabia. So, Walter, I'm going to throw it right over to you. Let's get your thoughts on this. I think Zayn retains. What do you think?
I think Zayn retains, and I think Reed is the one that takes the fall so that Gable can say, you didn't beat me, you beat Reed. I deserve another shot. And then it continues the feud between them, and Chad will eventually win the title one-on-one. Like, I think that's the whole reason Reed is in here. Even though he's a monster heel and they're pushing him, I just feel like he's the one that's going to somehow take the fall so that Chad has, you know, a legit reason as to, hey, I'm not the one that lost the match, even though, you know, technically with I feel like that's the reason triple threats are set up like that.
You know what? There's our bonus point. Who takes the fall? So Noah Foster, we're doing a bonus point. Who takes the fall? I'm going with Gable because I think Otis is going to do something that causes Gable to get pinned. Gable's my pick to take the fall, and you're going with Bronson?
Reed. Yeah.
All right. There you go. Anything else you want to add, or we move on?
No, we move on.
All right. Big G, who's entertaining himself on the phone right now. Your thoughts on this match?
Man, it should be a fun match. All three are great wrestlers. But yeah, I'm going to go with Sami to retain here. I mean, it'd be kind of stupid for him to lose it right away after beating Gunther at Mania. And I'm going to go with Bronson Reed as the one who will be taking the pinfall as well.
All right. Now we'll throw it over to Matthew with his thoughts on this match.
I'm pretty much in the, collective here. Sami's going to win. I think Bronson is going to take the pin. I do think Otis is going to get involved. Either he's going to do something and it's going to cost Sami or cost Gable to either get knocked out of the ring, or he's going to end up trying to hit Sami and hit Bronson in some way. But yeah, Sami's going to retain. Gable's going to get angry. And then probably Monday we'll see the end of the old Alpha Academy and probably the beginning of the new one with the Creed brothers.
Sounds good to me. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to have like Team Angle vibes. Kurt Angle, Shelton Benjamin, and Charlie Haas. That's going to be a fun group. Greg, let's get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty straightforward. A Sami Zayn win against the two guys that sort of just missed out on the WrestleMania IC match. I would say the two guys that were the closest to maybe facing Gunther. But yeah, I'm going to go for a Zayn win. I think I was watching Raw last night. When Otis got slapped last night. It was last night, right? He got slapped.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy, here it goes. But I don't know whether they are saving that. I was kind of hoping they would save it for the turn for like maybe another few weeks, because then I feel like the pop is slowly building. Because you heard the chants last night, but I feel like they're gonna pull the trigger either on Saturday or Raw, when Matthew said the whole new group gets formed, because obviously Gable's talking to Creed. But I don't know. I think he either accidentally cost Gable, or he just says too much to him. He slapped him one more last time, and it just gives him, like, I don't know, an absolute I don't know, splash or clotheslines him. And then Gable takes the fall, I think, because I think they're going to keep Reed strong for as long as they can. Because I think Triple H is very high up on him. So because he's getting in these spots and positions, he's been unlucky over the last few months in terms of missing out in Australia, etc. So I think he may still get a one-on-one pay-per-view match. I don't know, but yeah, not Reed. Sorry, Gable takes the fall. Zayn retains, and yeah, he'll continue his title reign for many more months, I think.
All right, sounds like Walter's going to change his mind. Go ahead, Walter.
No, I just wanted to say, am I the only one that actually, I guess I am on my Russo stuff today. I'm not saying this will happen this Saturday, but am I the only one that doesn't want Otis to turn? Like, I want it to be a swerve, like Otis becomes a monster heel with Chad. Like, they can pull it off. Like, he doesn't have to be maybe he slaps him into being like, wake up a monster in him. He doesn't have to go all babyface, because I just feel like he'll get lost in once he becomes like this babyface and everybody's sympathetic and he beats Chad, and then it's like, then what? We've already seen that babyface Otis and becoming Otis with what's her name?
Maxine.
Why can't I think of her name? Like, I fired
Mandy Rose. She's a millionaire, for crying out loud.
I know. I couldn't think of her name, but like that whole story. So it's like, been there, done that. Why not just let him get loose as another heel?
TJS, we'll throw it over to you now.
Well, I mean, I think it's just hard to take Otis seriously after his run with the Money in the Bank contract. So I think he has to be I think he just has to be a babyface, because I just don't think he'll work as like a heater, basically. But yeah, I mean, I really want Chad Gable to win, but I don't think he's going to. He literally pinned Sami Zayn last night, so I mean I'm like 99.9% sure we know how WWE books. If he looks strong on the go home, he's losing at the PLE, and I think that's what's happening. Sami will pin Chad Gable after Otis turns, like you said, Aaron. But I really hope this is not the end of Chad's push. Like, I really want the new faction to actually happen with the Creed brothers, and I wish Gable would win a singles championship already. He's like the new Cesaro. He's so undervalued and underappreciated and underrated. So Zayn wins. Gable takes the fall, and hopefully big things coming soon for Chad.
All right, and I am going with Sami Zayn to retain his title. And now we'll move on to the Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch defending her title against Liv Morgan, who's looking to complete her Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. Can she pick up the championship? Now, I do want to mention this right off the bat. There are these rumors about Becky Lynch. Her contract is reportedly up in a couple weeks. I do not think she's going anywhere. Seth Rollins just signed a new contract. I would be very surprised if she left WWE, like extremely surprised. So I don't think she's going anywhere. Now, I still think there's a chance Liv Morgan could walk away with the championship and start building her up for a run and have Rhea Ripley come back and try to win her title. But the question is, how long is Rhea Ripley going to be gone? Would it be too soon to put the title on Liv? Would it be better to wait? So let's get everyone's thoughts on this one. Greg, we'll start with you this time and get your thoughts. Go ahead.
Yeah, this looks very straightforward if you don't read too much into the whole contract situation. But with you, Aaron, I agree. Becky's not going anywhere. Like, I feel like she's like unless someone really upsets her one day, which I think even then she'd be like, "It's cool, I'd move on." She's a WWE lifer, like, and I feel like Seth is going to be too. So I can't see them. I can't see her just bouncing like that. So I think it will come out because Drew's contract was renewed very, very late or very close until the last minute, right? I feel like it was when he got the whole sword given to him in the restaurant. So that whole contract was dealt with very late. So Becky's could get done in like a week's time. Like you never know. It could come out literally a week after. Like I don't know, but I think she retains. Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. It's good. It's changed up her gimmick a little bit. She's been a bit more aggressive and trying her best to be a heel, even though I feel like she struggles to show that heel side. I feel like she's just a good girl trying to be horrible. Like she reminds me of when Natalia goes heel, and you just feel like Natalia hasn't got like a bad bone in her body. She's like, oh god, I'm a heel. Like I hate you. She just doesn't give me any feelings that she's like a heel. So I appreciate her trying. And if it wasn't for her already having like a failed money, well, not a failed Money in the Bank, but I mean a poor Money in the Bank win and run, then I would say leave her to have the Money in the Bank win and have her like completely mess over Becky, cash in, keep the title until Rhea comes back. But I don't know what they're doing with her. So I feel like they don't believe in her enough to win the belt off Becky because Becky's literally, just won it. She's treated so strongly in the division, like with Bianca, etc. So I believe, yeah, Becky retains. Maybe Liv attacks her afterwards, so they keep the feud going. I don't know, but I can't see Liv winning the title just yet. So I'm going to stick with a Becky retain, regardless of the contract situation.
Well said there, Greg. I think you made some good points. Building Nexus sent in a $2 super chat, says chances that Dominic helps Liv Morgan. And, there could be something there. I think like they've been too subtle with the teases, so it may be too soon for Dominic and Liv to hook up just yet. I think you need to build it up more on TV. Like if it was going to happen, I think they would have had more segments with them that were noteworthy, not something where like they're standing in the background for 2 seconds. TJS, both you and Walter had your hands up, so we'll get your guys' thoughts. TJS or Big G did too.
No, I'm saying TJS can go first.
You're pointing at Big G.
I know.
All right, Aaron. The reason that I raised my hand is because you mentioned how it's been very subtle with the teases. This ties into something else that I think is going to happen on this show. On commentary, like I think it was last week, and on Raw, SmackDown and Raw, they've both mentioned, oh, look at these crazy QR codes that have been popping up. In case you guys missed it, we don't know what's up with these QR codes. So that tells me that this Uncle Howdy thing is probably happening on this show, since the commentary acknowledged it. And I think it would be the same thing with with Dominic helping Liv. Commentary probably would have said something like, oh, did you see that? Liv was in the background. Dominic and Liv were walking together, or something like that. So anyway, on to the match. You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I'm so tired of Becky. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Every single week, she just comes out there and blah, 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 blah. And I can't take it. I think Liv is going to win. Maybe I'm just trying to will that into existence, but I'm tired of the long title reigns, and I'm tired of Becky. Like, don't think I've really cared for her since she got her nose broken, and she was the man. But this is so played out at this point. I can't take it anymore. The Becky yapping promos take years off my life. I, I, I'm Liv wins. Liv beats Becky Hogan.
Wow. So we got Bianca Cena and Becky Hogan. There you go. Walter, we'll throw it over to you now. What do you think? I mean, what does your brain tell you, not what your heart tells you?
Well, first, in terms of the whole Dom thing, I think they're being subtle on purpose because they don't want it to build too well without knowing 100% when Rhea's coming back. I think once they know exactly when Rhea's coming back, they'll pick that up and it'll become like more and more obvious. So I think that's why they're doing it the way they're doing it. They don't want it to become like this hot angle takeover, and then there's no resolution to it for a long time, because what if Rhea's out for over a year? So like I think that's why they're doing that. Just putting that out there. But in terms of the match, kind of with TJS, I think before the Rhea got hurt, Becky was going to take some time off to be with her husband. So I think that Liv's going to win the title just so she can go away a little while, because I think that was the plan. But then she got her number called because of the injury, and they just went with the default like they do with Cena. They just went with default Becky because they didn't know how to plan that battle royal. So they just said, Becky, hold off on your vacation. Let us do this, figure out what we're going to do, and then. So I think, even though I really wouldn't like Liv as a champ anyways, but I'm going to go with Liv, and then I think Becky can go be on vacation, enjoy her kid and Seth for a while, and be off TV for a while. And then maybe they'll change TJS and I's mind about Becky. Maybe she'll come back, and then it'll be all good. Once you miss her, and she's off your mind and off TV for a good 3-4 months. When she comes back, maybe it'll be different run, different style, and we won't like dislike her so much. But yeah, she's starting to. You call her Becky Hogan, but she's starting to do that Super Cena run too herself. Even though we saying that about Bianca, but it's just like always winning. Don't bet against her, and she always keeps popping up into the main event. So
she
might let her go away for a while.
She might. I was just gonna say she might wear red and yellow this Saturday, brother. Jesus,
brother.
But at least she's not. It's not her fault. It's the company's putting it. It's not like she's saying that don't work for me. Change the finish. Yeah. So I don't think she's Hogan. It's just that she's the company woman, and she's the go-to person. So
yeah,
she has to do what is asked of her. It's not really her fault. Like Hogan, it's like he tried to do political games in the background. That's not really Becky. She's just doing her job.
That's true. Yeah.
I only see Liv winning if Dominic interferes, but my gut feeling is Becky wins, so I'm going with that. And I think Liv has a good shot to win the Money in the Bank match coming up in July, and then she'll cash it in maybe on Becky, and then Rhea will make her return at that point. But yeah, I find it hard to believe WWE will pull the trigger on Liv Morgan in a legitimate match. I could see her cashing in Money in the Bank and winning the title that way. But yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But I do think it could happen with Dominic possibly getting involved. Big G, we'll throw it over to you now and get your thoughts. Go ahead.
Now that all the complaining is over with, man, I'm still loving Becky. I don't care what y'all say.
There you go.
But as far as the match goes, I mean, during Becky's promo yesterday, and even I think the week before, she kept on mentioning that Liv hasn't beaten her yet. So she can't keep on saying that and then Liv losing on Saturday. I mean, my gut wants to go with Becky. I might change it Friday night again, but for now, I think I'm going to go with Liv winning the title against Becky. Because like Walter said, she was supposed to be taking vacation after Mania, but Rhea got hurt. And so they were like, well, we need the babyface champion right now. So put it on Becky, and then Becky did what she needed to do to get this feud going with Liv. So I'm going to go with Liv to win the Women's World title.
And Sean, I mentioned the Money in the Bank as a way for her to win the title before Rhea Ripley comes back. I see Liv more in that regard, that she's like, she can win the title on a fluke, with the briefcase or whatever. I just don't see her being pushed at the level where she's going to beat their top star for the title after, Becky's been pushed so hard. I just don't see it happening. But I will say this. I feel like this match is harder to predict than most women's title matches on pay-per-view. People are definitely torn on this one. So I am looking forward to it. And there are different scenarios for it. Matthew, go ahead. Let's get your thoughts, and then we'll move to the main event.
I'm pretty much in agreement with, most of the group. I think Liv is going to win. I think Becky was the, in case of emergency, pull Becky out contingency. I do agree that I think the time of the horsewomen is coming to an end. They're not going to go away, but they don't need to be pushed as heavily as they have been. I mean, we've already seen Bayley, even Bayley, her title reign so far has not been that good. But I think this was just, they weren't ready to pull the trigger on Liv winning, or maybe her winning at Money in at Queen of the Ring was always the idea, but it was going to be against Rhea. But I think Liv's going to win. We've also seen last night, apparently it was shown that Liv was seen with Balor as well. So I think she's going to end up taking control of most of Damage Control, minus Priest, who's going to get kicked out. And then that means Mommy's not only going to have to come back and get her title as a babyface, but either destroy Damage Control or redeem it. But yeah, I think whether people are like it or not, I think Liv is winning, and Becky's probably going to finally take the time off. But again, yeah, she's probably already re-signed, just like Seth did, just like Balor did, Priest did, Drew did. Their WWE just isn't telling the dirt sheets because they know how crazy they get every time that they're not fed the information. But yeah, Liv will become she'll now be a Triple Crown champion, I believe, with this win. Because she's won the tag titles and she's won SmackDown. So yeah, she'll become a Triple Crown with this title win.
Triple Crown winner. Yeah. I mean, you guys may be right, but I'm going with my gut. And remember when we said it's hard to bet against John Cena? Well, I think it's hard to bet against Becky Lynch. If she is indeed the female Cena, again, I'll believe it when I see it. It could happen. I'm not confident, but I will say Becky retains. All right, guys, we're going to move on now to the main event. This one, I think we're all going to be unanimous. I will be legitimately surprised if anybody picks a certain person in this match. So we got Cody Rhodes defending his WWE Universal or Undisputed Championship, whatever it's called now, maybe just the WWE title, versus the United States champion, Logan Paul. Logan's title is not on the line. I think this is another match similar to Backlash. It's going to be a match to elevate Cody as champion. He gets a great match with Logan Paul, just like he did with AJ Styles. And it's gonna be a fun match to watch. But yeah, Cody retains here. I mean, I don't really have too much to say about it. I think it's gonna be entertaining, but it's another filler opponent for Cody. Big G, any thoughts you have on this one? Go ahead.
I mean, not really. It should be a fun match. I mean, Logan Paul has impressed me in the past year since winning the U.S. title, even though he really hasn't defended it as much. But the matches he has been putting on, he's really impressed me. They could have, even if they would have put the U.S. title on the line, Cody, we all would have put Cody anyways. He would have been a double champ. But, yeah, I'm going to go with, like I said, it should be a fun match. Should elevate Cody, and it should also elevate Logan Paul. And I'm going to go with Cody to retain. So, simple as that.
All right. Well, that's Noah Foster's phrase. So you're your trademark infringing on the simple man Noah Foster. Matthew, what are your thoughts on this match?
Cody's gonna win. Pretty simple. It's gonna be a. I originally didn't think they were gonna put either title on the line when they originally said champion versus champion, and then Cody made the whole weird thing about being Grand Slam. But I never thought the U.S. title was gonna be on the line. That needs to go to L.A. Knight. Yeah, but yeah, Cody's gonna win. This is if Gunther Orton isn't match of the night. This is probably going to be match of the night. But yeah, it's just going to be a great showcase between, Cody and LA Knight, who continue, or Logan Paul, who continues to prove the world that, he is as good of a wrestler, if not better than most people say he is.
Yep. He's been very impressive, and I'm sure this will be another fun match with these guys. Greg, we'll throw it over to you now with your thoughts.
Yeah, a very, very simple Cody retain. Obviously, these next few months are tricky for WWE because they've got to try and keep Cody strong, keep Virtue away because obviously I know he wants to see Cody fail after that big win over his boy. But yeah, these next few months are tricky in terms of who he has to face. Obviously, they went with Styles, a cracking match, got the win there. Therefore, they've got the Saudi show coming up. They need it covered by a match where it's like a face versus obviously a face Cody versus a very strong heel in terms of the hate that Logan gets. So they thought, and they didn't want to waste a title match. So I feel like they're like, this is perfect. Logan versus like they did Logan versus Roman in Saudi, right? So they got that out of the way. They had that match. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, we saw Roman versus Logan." But it was in Saudi, so it wasn't really a big deal, but it kind of was. And that's how this match is. It'll be a nice another notch on the belt for Cody. Depending on how much you see it as a notch on the belt, it's like I know Logan is the United States champion, but he's a bit of a puss in terms of the top heels in the business. So it'll be a win. I don't know how many of YouTubers Logan will get involved. Like God knows who'll be there to sort of be in the prime bottle. I don't know. It happens every match. Hopefully Cody has like a nice strong win, and I've got a funny feeling maybe his next opponent might come out afterwards, and I don't know, maybe we might see Uncle Howdy, Wyatt Six, or whoever. I don't know, but I feel like they have to end on something because I feel like if not, it will just be like another generic sort of finish. It would be like at the end of a house show, so they might have to end on something strong. But yeah, should be a decent match. I don't think match of the night, even though Logan is very good in the ring, and he's proved it against some of the best in the business so far. But comfortable win for Cody, and yeah, let's get this show done and move on to the next show.
On to the next. TJS, let's get your thoughts.
Boring. Cody is just look. Philip Sapp mentioned it. He asked me the question in the chat earlier. He asked if I like the Cody yapping promos. No, I do not. I can't deal with it, man. It's just so boring. This is like change the channel for me. I just don't think that Cody is, and I knew it was going to be hard to follow up Roman's reign, but this ain't doing it for me. And maybe it's because he's not getting like interesting opponents, 2 predictable matches in a row. I don't know. I think the blonde guy is going to win. Does that help?
Perfect. There you go. Blonde guy wins the match.
No, but really, Cody's going to win, and then I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next for Cody, but I don't think so, Michael. But anyway, I don't know who's next for Cody, but they need to get someone that is. I guess everyone would be predictable in the first few months of the title reign, but I don't know. It's not doing it for me. Cody's gonna win, and then if Howdy doesn't show up, then like Greg said, it's just gonna be. It's gonna feel like a house show ending. So.
All right, and then Big G sent in a $5 super chat while doing this, saying, "Then don't watch TJF if it is so boring."
Well, that's why I said I change the channel whenever Cody comes out, and then when he leaves.
You're just trying to butter up to Virtue so you can get a permanent spot on the review.
Look,
I think that's what you're doing.
I have started to come around on Cody. Like, I get it. He's like the white meat babyface hero. And maybe that's why I don't like. That's maybe why I get bored by Becky also, because their character is basically the same. They're both, baby. Maybe I just think baby faces are boring. I don't know. But I've seen a lot of people say that WWE has trouble booking baby faces. Maybe that's my problem. I don't know.
Well, thank you, Big G. And Walter, we'll throw it over to you now. Do you think this is boring? Or are you looking forward to this match?
I'm actually looking forward to it to see what Logan Paul can do. I actually like Logan as a wrestler. Like the fact that he gained my respect, the fact that he takes it serious and he's the moves he does and stuff, and it fits the jackass that he is. The little stuff he does, like recording while he's in the middle of doing an elbow or something, like it's different. It's kind of cool. So, but yeah, it's pretty predictable. I think Cody retains here. But yeah, like Greg was saying, I wouldn't put it past if like KSI is there and it makes it look like there's going to be a close spin. But hopefully Logan I want to see him more often putting his title on the line. Let's try to make the U.S. title as relevant as Gunther did with the IC title. Like he said, he signed a full-time contract from what I heard. So like, let's make it full-time and start caring about it. But once they said that whole title for title on the review offline, I said it to you, Aaron, and you agreed. I was like, they're gonna say you didn't read the fine print. My title isn't on. I knew both titles weren't gonna eventually. I mean, I wasn't exactly right, but they eventually he just came up with a whole new contract. I said he was just gonna say you didn't read the fine print, but like I knew it wasn't gonna be title for title, and that's the reason that Logan can still have the belt and hopefully he elevated. Like I want to see more defenses now. Let's move on, but. Cody is just a victim of circumstance. It's not his fault. It's Rock had to go make a movie. Roman has to go away for a while. So all that stuff everybody's saying, it's not really Cody's fault. So it's just, we can't rush time. Like you can't skip months. So you got to wait till Rock finishes recording this movie and then it'll get interesting. And then everybody would be talking about how great it is. And then you won't see sad TJS anymore.
Matthew, anything you would like to add?
I was just thinking about this. If Logan Paul does have some sort of, entourage with him, could we possibly see LA Knight show up as an enforcer? Now, I'd rather see Cody win clean, but it could help lead into the potential Logan Paul LA Knight that they've already teased on SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, you could potentially see that guy I show speed or KSI interfere, and then LA Knight comes down to even the odds, and then that sets up the SummerSlam match. I mean, that certainly is a possibility as far as, possible finish for that match goes. Tiger sent in a €2 super chat. Thank you, Tiger. Says, speaking of Hogan and so forth, who has veto power nowadays? I don't think anybody does. I don't
Roman
think anybody.
Reigns. That's probably all.
I mean, I don't think anybody has creative control, if that's the question you're asking.
You don't even think Reigns?
I think pretty much everybody's expendable. I mean, Roman Reigns probably has some say over the direction of his character, but I don't think he's going to just flat out turn something down if he doesn't like it,
I think he might have some say, but it's not written into his contract like WCW did, where you have creative control. People might be able to say stuff, but it's not legally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's had that kind of power in WWE for years. That ended. I mean, that was WCW too. Anyways, guys, we've done our predictions. Let's go ahead and get to the plugs now. Matthew, thank you for being on tonight. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
Not really. Just, as always, thank you for letting me be on. It's always a pleasure. Check out No DQ, and, I appreciate, getting to be part of this group and, look forward to the pay-per-view and seeing how it all turns out.
All right. Thank you for that, Matthew. And he comments on the No DQ post. So interact with him on Facebook and on the NoDQ.com comment section. You can interact with him. He usually leaves one of the better non-troll posts on there, which I appreciate. Sometimes people are on there writing stupid crap, and Matthew actually has some well thought out opinions on wrestling. So interact with him. He's one of the good ones. Greg, pleasure to have you on tonight. Thank you for coming on. It's late over there, but you'll be able to watch the show early. Anything you would like to plug or promote?
No, I'm the same. Obviously, I'm on Twitter /X GMPunk88. I think some of you already follow me. If you want to follow me, that's cool. Like, I don't spout too much wrestling stuff, but if you want to talk to me about it, I'm always there. I'm always open. I'll talk about wrestling with all my guys over here. So I'm welcome to talk more about it on there as well. So, but yeah, thank you again for having me, Aaron. Really appreciate it. Obviously, if you need me for Thursday, I'm there. For the 3-hour AEW predictions show and all their matches.
Oh God!
I'm predicting who's going to get injured and who's not going to make it, etc. So yeah, but give me a shout. But yeah, until then, thank you again, guys. Really appreciate chatting. It's great, and hopefully the show will still be very good on Saturday, regardless of all the predictable results.
Yeah, it should be a really good show. Yeah, Double or Nothing predictions coming up Thursday at 8 Eastern. And yeah, that one might be a bit longer than this one. So we'll see if we do 6. I may not go with 6 just because I don't want to go in 3 hours. Anyways, TJS, we'll throw it over to you now with your plugs.
Yeah. So yeah, NoDQ. I don't know if that domain still works. Follow me on X at TYLRJSPHSMTH. And yeah, always great to be on. I look forward to these Saturday PLEs always, and even better, like you said, it's going to be in the afternoon. So probably should have mentioned that in the beginning, but that's something that I'm looking forward to. Again, thanks for having me on. Should be a good show, and yeah, that's all I got.
All right, Walter, thank you as always for being reliable, being on here, and giving us some interesting opinions on things and throwing out a few wacky ideas, but we appreciate it nonetheless. Go ahead with your plugs.
Yeah, well, of course, start with thanking you for having me up here. But yeah, on the X, follow me at Walter Alex Cruz. The Cow Fire Farms is the Instagram, and YouTube at Rage Wrestling. The next UFC watch along should be UFC 302, which is Saturday, June 1st. So that's it from me.
All right, thank you for that. And now we will throw it over to the one and the only Big Baller G, who's always happy to be here. Go ahead.
Yeah, there are my social media handles. Big Baller G 1988 on TikTok. I might be doing a live TikTok during King and Queen of the Ring on my TikTok. I'm not too sure yet. X at NoDQ _Big Baller G, and on Insta NoDQ _Big Baller G 1988.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you, everyone, for being on tonight. Enjoy this weekend. It's going to be a big one for wrestling fans. We got WWE's King and Queen of the Ring, as well as AEW Double or Nothing. And again, AEW predictions will be Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. Until then, say yes to NoDQ, buy a shirt, NoDQ.com/merch, and we will see you all next time.